Greetings and salutations, viewers and listeners. Welcome to another episode of Game Break. I am Charles, coming to you today with another episode of Everlasting Summer. Now, last time round, we got a bit of a surprise. We wandered into the abandoned camp to find an abandoned tunnel with an abandoned bunker with an abandoned mine shaft under that, and hey, we did find the missing camper, but they were a little cranky by the time we found them, so I really don't know where this story is going. I feel like the last few episodes have just gone sideways on us. I want to talk more in detail about that, but first, let's actually see where things go from here. Because I really am curious what the heck is going on here. Alright, I legitimately don't remember where the last episode left off, but it's somewhere around here. Apparently the save didn't stick last time around. I apologize for that. We're just going to jump in right here in complete darkness after getting blindsided by Shurik, because we don't know yet why. He was just cranky. So, calm down. She hugged me tenderly and pressed her body against mine. I tried to gather my senses, to recover my breath, to adapt to the darkness. What should we do next? You have a gun. Well, who do I shoot? It's loaded with a flare. She might be right. They didn't even check if it was loaded first. I took the gun from my belt, pointed it to the side, and fired. In an enclosed space. The room was illuminated by a bright red light. The flare lying in the corner looked like a firework or a sparkler. Let's go quickly, it won't burn for too long. Where to? Lena pointed to the second door. It wasn't hard to open it, and we headed into the darkness. The flare burned more dimly with every second. I stumbled with every step, even fell down a couple of times, but didn't slow my pace. If it goes out... Finally, we saw light in front of us and came to a ladder, leading to a grating in the ceiling. The flare hissed and went out. Thank God. Turned out that we were right under the statue of Genda. The grating was rather sturdy, but we managed to open it after breaking the bolts with the flashlight. After reaching the surface, I collapsed on the grass, exhausted. That was terrible. Lena sat next to me. Just dreadful. By that time, I didn't give a damn about this world, the camp, the 410 bus, or my previous life. The strangest and nastiest thing was that there was nothing supernatural in these events. Shurik just went crazy, insane. Nothing strange about it. I would have too in his position. Lena patted my head tenderly and smiled. It's all over now. I don't know. There is a crazy pioneer in the woods. You could even say a maniac killer. I think he's going to be all right. All right? I'm not sure about that. The most important thing is that we're okay. She still smiled. How can you be so calm? I told you before that I have nothing to be afraid of when I'm with you. Indeed. I might have saved Lena and myself back there. But it was only by chance, nothing more. If Shurik had been swifter, or crazier. Thanks for the compliment. You're welcome. Though we still should have stayed here in the first place. You're probably right, she said calmly. I got really sleepy. Because of stress, of exhaustion, of how late at night it was. We should go to sleep. But I'd have to stand up and walk to the leader's cabin. I wasn't ready for that. My eyes closed just for a moment. Stars looked down at me from the sky. Thousands of them, even millions. Now their light didn't seem to be so distant and cold. On the contrary, they twinkled to me, as if whispering among themselves, telling merry fairy tales in eager competition. About a galaxy far, far away, and violet fluffy piglets. About mysterious asteroid belts where ships have disappeared. About a fearless starship captain and his brave crew. About exceptional treasures and unreachable peaks of a planet on the edge of the universe. I wonder, is that a dream? I lifted myself a little and realized that my head was in Lena's lap. Did I sleep long? I asked in confusion, but didn't rush to get up. I don't know. I don't have a watch. She laughed. Approximately? Well, maybe 20 minutes? Ah, that's okay then. I lay down again, feeling nice and calm like never before. The events of the night were becoming distant, as if I were starting to forget them, like the story the stars were telling me. Shurik has come back. What? I jumped on my feet instantly. There he is, sleeping on the bench. Lena pointed to the benches in surprise. And what are you... You were sleeping so peacefully that I didn't want to wake you up. I felt a shiver of fear, because such behavior was not just strange. It was not just inappropriate. It scared me more than Shurik's insanity in the dungeon. A lunatic who half an hour ago tried to kill us arrives, lies on a nearby bench, and falls asleep. And she just sits there. Nothing to worry about. He just seemed to be a little off. You're not wrong. But in the context, maybe a little more concern? Lena got confused and blushed. He walked unsteadily and didn't look towards us, and if I'd made a noise... She was about to cry. Okay, don't worry. There was some logic in her words. She probably did the right thing. In any case, we had to interrogate Shurik thoroughly. I jumped up, walked quickly to the bench he was sleeping on, and slapped him. Ouch! He woke up at once. What the hell? What are you doing, you bastard? What? Shurik stared at me with a scared and, moreover, sane look. What was that all about down... Oh, what was that all about down there? What? Where? In the dungeon, in the mine, in the bomb shelter. Did you go completely nuts? I don't understand you. He looked around.
Why am I here?
And where should you be in your opinion? Oh, wait, I know. You should be in an asylum.
I went to the old camp in the morning for the spare parts, and then... Don't you remember anything after that?
Lena asked after walking up to us.
Yes, and I...
Don't pretend, I said calmly and sat next to him. It really looked like he wasn't lying, though.
I don't understand anything. It's unscientific.
Who cares? Don't think that I trust you.
Memory loss can't occur just...
Shurik talked to himself, mumbled something, not paying us any attention.
Let's go,
Lena said quietly. Shall we just leave him here?
He's not in his right mind. He has to sleep.
It's dangerous to leave this psycho alone. He may strangle Electronic with an induction coil in the night.
It's going to be all right. Trust me.
I had no reason not to trust her. However, I didn't have any reason to trust her either. On the other hand, who cares now? I wanted to fall asleep as quickly as possible. Okay. We left Shurik, who was still mumbling something to himself.
We're here.
What? Where?
I have to go further on.
Lena smiled. I hadn't thought about anything all the way here. Just followed her, and hadn't noticed that we'd come to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. Yes.
Thank you. For today.
There's nothing to thank me for. It's just good that we came back alive. We'll see what Shurik has to say tomorrow.
Thanks anyway,
she said mysteriously and averted her eyes. You're welcome.
Well, it's time for me to go.
Lena quickly turned around and walked quickly in the direction of her cabin. I suddenly had a thought that something about that was a bit off. Not quite right. After all that had happened, just, well, it's time for me to go? Usually goes differently in such situations, doesn't it? I have no idea what I expected, though. Exhaustion hit me again. Walking with difficulty, I entered the cabin. Oh, hey, she's up. The leader was sitting on my bed.
Semyon.
She started to talk sadly.
Where have you been?
Well, I prepared for a scolding. I didn't expect that reaction. I went to look for Shurik.
Alone?
Oh, decisions. Yes, I went alone. Yes, alone.
So, what about Shurik?
It looks like Olga Dmitrievna was really worried about the fate of the lost pioneer. What's so strange about that? The leader can treat her work lightly, but it doesn't mean that she's a heartless person. He's okay. As okay as he could be in such a situation.
That's good. Go to sleep now.
Wait, but... She turned the light out quickly, showing that the conversation is over and I couldn't ask anything. Though, should I? Ask why she didn't scold me? Still, Lena. What happened today? My thoughts slowed their pace before stopping completely. And we've made it to day 5. Okay, so at this point we've made it through 4 full days in this world and the plot of this game. And I feel like things are finally evolving in the storyline to the point where things are going to come to a head. What was it? Like, the bus comes every week, so probably 2 to 3 more days of in-game time until whatever climax there is. I've more or less tried to steer myself towards the Lena storyline, whatever that is. What little I've looked into this game, there are some pretty weird bad endings. I don't know how bad they are, how crazy it can get, but considering how much of a twist Day 4 gave us, I'm a little disconcerted as to just how this is all gonna go down. I still don't fully understand if we've time traveled, gone through some sort of dimensional warp of some sort, or if I'm beginning to wonder, is this a camp of some sort of, like a rehabilitation camp for children who are slightly off or have issues that need to be worked out? Because, okay, Shurik, from my impression, was in a fugue state. Because he seems comparatively balanced otherwise. That really came out of left field for me. I was not expecting that from this character. I don't care how stressed out or how lost you are down there. There was no real justification for attacking the characters from what little I could see. But if you're in a fugue state, that can shift things considerably. If he's had some sort of psychological or emotional trauma that we're not aware of, and that fugue state is triggered, that would explain what's going on, at least with Shurik. And if that were the case, that implies that other characters here have their own issues. Lena comes off as comparatively introverted, so that doesn't give us much to work with. We still need to know more about her character to understand just what potential psychological or emotional issues she might have, if that is the way they're going. If not, I really hope Day 5 illuminates a few things for us, because Lena really changed characters in this last day. I was how do I put this? Considering the other visual novels I've played, where there's an introverted character with similar personality traits to her, there is significant trauma of some sort, either physical or psychological, to the character. So statistically, I'm expecting something similar for her, but I honestly don't know what, considering how calmly she took most of that. But if that's the route they're going, then it raises questions to some of the others. I mean, anger management with Slavia is kind of easy to go down that road. Nah. I'd have to take a closer look at all the other characters now under that perspective, because I haven't really thought of that until this episode. Which also could potentially imply that Semyon has his own issues, and maybe we're in our own little fugue state. And we're just not aware of that, because when you're in a fugue state, you don't really necessarily realize that. So, I'm really curious where this story is going, and it would also I don't know, it wouldn't really explain why we're not getting any answers either, because if he's time traveled, or if things are not on the up and up as to why he would be there, there's gotta be an explanation. But every time he's looked for answers, he hasn't gotten any. Every time he had the opportunity to look for answers, something has come up so that he simply didn't. Now, I can't speak for myself because I've never been put into a situation where I've time traveled and gone to a very weird pioneer-like camp, so I'm not quite sure if I would try to fit in, or if I would try to search for answers and say, damn the consequences, I'm finding answers. And hopefully I never get into that situation. Like, I've seen enough Doctor Who to know how that ends, usually tragically. I think I'm going to save the extended commentary and storyline breakdown for each in-game day, rather than each episode. Like, if something significant happens, yeah, sure, fine. I'm going to want to talk about it at the end of the episode, but going forward, at least for Everlasting Summer, I picture doing 20 to 30 minute recordings of the game. If we hit the end of the day, then that episode, yeah, I'll do a breakdown of that entire day's plot and character growth and all that, just as a heads up. So I'm intrigued, and I'm really hoping that there is a direction that we're going towards and it's justifiable and it'll all make sense when we get it revealed, because otherwise day 4 feels like a completely different story. Like, I did not see any of day 4 coming. So I'm hoping that day 5 kind of helps illuminate some of that stuff, rather than just throwing more curveballs at us, but hey, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll find out next time. Thank you all for joining me. As always, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you can find out what happens on the next episode and check out all the other Game Break episodes we do and learn about our weekly podcast and book reviews and writing prompts and everything else that we toss up whenever we can. Until then, go be creative. Go have fun.